Now, typically I don't cover Bentleys here on the channel, but when my buddy at Core Motor Cars called up and said, we have a very special Bentley Continental I'd like for you to drive, who am I to say no? So what we have here is a 2012 Bentley Supersports, and that means it's a Bentley GT, but got a much bigger engine under the hood. This has a W12 engine under the hood, which means they take two VR6 engines and they put them together so the two Vs make a W. That's how they come up with the name. So it's got 6 liters and over 600 horsepower. So a really big engine in a big, heavy Grand Touring car. So this is a 2012 and only has 20,000 kilometers on it. And you know it's a super sports because you've got the dark grille, you've got the beautiful wheels. Look at the size of the rotors in this. This is actually equipped with ceramic brakes. So the discs and the calipers are absolutely massive in this car. Then you get a flared rear end and just a stance and a color and a combination that really just says money. So I went to pick this car up and there's somebody there thinking about buying it. His name is Bill and he's really thinking about buying it. So I said, you've done all the research on this car, you know you want it, let's go for a drive. So let's jump inside with Bill and we'll talk about this very special Bentley. So Bill, why do you want this car?
Why wouldn't you want this car? Are you kidding? Come on.
So why not just a regular Continental GT? Why do you want this particular one?
So I'm looking at the GT as well, but the way they made the line, there's the GT, then there's the GT Speed, and then you get this one, the Supersport. It's the top of the line. So it's the most tuned engine. It's the most aggressive. You look at the interior, you know, Bentley's known for their wood interiors.
Sure.
You see wood anywhere?
No, it's all carbon.
It's carbon fiber. So this is really meant to be that, hey, it's still luxury, but it's a little closer to a sports car, about as close as you're gonna get to a track car.
Now, the interior of this one is unique, you said. It's got a couple of features that you don't often see that are now sought after now that they're used, right? The seats and the stereo?
Yeah, the seats, usually this comes with carbon fiber seats. This was meant to shave a lot of weight off the car, but they're really rigid, so these are the luxury seats. And the stereo, this is the name stereo, which is like an $8,000 or a $9,000 upgrade. It's a really spectacular audiophile system.
So why would you want to have the comfort seats? I guess the sporty racing seats, they're not great for a touring car.
You know, like, this is really meant to be like GT Grand Tour.
Yeah.
This is really meant to be a car that gobbles up the miles and you go out for long rides with. So for me, you know, Bentley to me is more about luxury and comfort.
Yeah.
Right? So you go for that. If I wanted straight up acceleration and insanity in sports seats, I'd go, you know, with a Ferrari or something like that.
Which you have owned in the past.
Yeah, I've had a couple years ago before I got married and realized that I couldn't spend the money I wanted to spend.
All right, let's talk about the outside and what's under the hood of this thing. So it's got a W12,
Yep.
and so 12 cylinder, but what's a W? Explain to everybody what that is.
So usually you think about a V6, a V is like this, right?
Yeah.
The W12, they actually took 2 6s and they put them together.
Yeah.
So you got like 2 Vs in there essentially facing each other.
Yeah, and over 600 horsepower, right?
621, I think.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
But it's also a big car. Like, this is a big, heavy, luxury Bentley, and having an engine like that under the hood kind of makes sense, actually.
It's a I want to say it's 5,500 pounds or 5,200 pounds. It's some absurd number, and it still does 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, plus it looks fantastic. So on the outside, I love the wheels. I love the color of this particular one.
Yeah.
But you've also got a staggered wheel where you get the big fender flares, right?
Out in the back, I think they're 2 inches. They're 2 inches wider in the back on the stance.
Yeah. Okay, so you're looking at Bentleys, you're looking at GTs. So what do you think of this thing? Oh, you know, tell you what. Let's stop. You've got to drive it.
Yeah, I got to drive this thing.
All right. So what made you land on Bentley as a mark? Like, what you set your targets to get something like this. So why Bentley? What is it about this brand?
It's reputation first, build quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at a car at this level, they can be expensive to maintain. You read about, so this is a 2012, so it's 9 years old.
You would never know. It's got how many kilometers on it? 20,000 kilometers?
2660 right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, it's like a brand new car, but you look at the cost to maintain. Bentleys tend to be good, well-built cars. Luxury and comfort, you go read any review, this is meant to be the kind of top 1 or 2 luxury cars in the world. Maybe Rolls-Royce is the other. And I love Rolls, I just don't know if I could
You got a few years before you get there.
This is my midlife crisis at 50. At 60, we'll talk rolls, okay?
And is your kid old enough to drive this yet?
He's 15. He's coming up on 15. I'd probably let him drive it in in a parking lot for now, but once the L goes on it, I'm sure he's going to be asking.
I wouldn't.
I said he's asking. I didn't say I was saying yes.
Not with 600 horsepower.
Oh, God. Yeah. This thing is a beast. I think he'll be driving the truck.
So is it a thumbs up, thumbs down? What do you think?
You know, I've been in it for all of about 2 minutes, and I'm pretty darn close to thumbs up. It's hard to imagine that the car got a lot smaller, if you know what I mean. Behind the wheel of it, it's a huge car. It handles like it's a small car.
Yeah.
It's just so
They're
easy.
able to mitigate the weight with the power,
Yeah.
and then you have all of that engineering might with Audi built in here as well, right? So
Yeah.
that's the great thing about the Volkswagen Group developing this car from its British heritage. You get to add in all of that Audi know-how, right?
Yeah, I gotta say, it's about as close to perfect of a car as I've ever driven. It's really special. It's really special.
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see if Bill actually pulls the pin on this and takes it home. I think he likes it. And thanks again to Core Motor Cars here in Vancouver for letting me borrow this for the day and letting Bill take it for a drive. It really is something special. Not the kind of car I typically cover here on the channel, but I thought you would like to see it. It's almost 10 years old, only 20,000 kilometers on the clock. And because the price of the new Continental GTs have gone up so much, a special car like this actually holds some value in comparison. It's all comparable. Thanks for watching. I want to put out a unique and different car every Friday, so make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next week.